Amsterdam. Windmills spin, tulips bloom, canals shimmer. The heart of the Netherlands. Highlight its iconic canals, Anne Frank House, Van Gogh Museum, and vibrant lifestyle blending old-world charm with modern energy. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this boats gliding slowly over shimmering canals, narrow brick houses leaning slightly as if whispering secrets of centuries past, bicycles ringing their bells in a constant melody, and the air filled with the aroma of fresh stroopwafels from a bustling street corner. This is not just a postcard scene. This is Amsterdam, the beating heart of the Netherlands. And if you think you've seen everything a European capital can offer, Amsterdam is here to prove you wrong. Because here, every bridge, every canal, and every cobblestone seems to carry a story waiting to unfold. Stay with me as we dive deep into one of the most extraordinary cities in the world, where history, art, and modern vibrance come together in a way no other place can. Amsterdam isn't just famous, it's iconic. Known as the Venice of the North, the city boasts over 100 kilometers of canals, 500 bridges, and 90 islands. But unlike Venice, Amsterdam is not frozen in time. It's alive, dynamic, and always evolving. You'll find 17th century canal houses standing proudly alongside contemporary architecture, creating a blend that feels timeless yet modern. Every corner you turn reveals something new. A tiny cafe tucked away, a historic building transformed into a boutique, or a mural that bursts with creativity. One of the city's most compelling treasures is the Anne Frank House. This is not just a museum, it is a powerful reminder of resilience, hope, and the enduring human spirit. Walking through the secret annex where Anne wrote her diary, you can almost feel the silence, the fear, and yet, the courage that lived within those walls. It's a place that moves visitors deeply, leaving them with a renewed sense of the importance of history and remembrance. From there, step into the world of Vincent van Gogh, one of the greatest artists of all time. The Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam is unlike any other art experience. It doesn't just showcase his paintings, it tells his story, his struggles, and his genius. Standing before the sunflowers or the bedroom, you're not just looking at brushstrokes, you're witnessing a man's journey through despair and brilliance. For art lovers, it's a pilgrimage, but even for those less familiar with painting, it's an emotional experience that stays with you. But Amsterdam is not only about the past. The city is buzzing with modern energy, creativity, and a youthful spirit. Stroll through the Giethoorn neighborhood, and you'll find narrow streets lined with boutique shops, cozy cafes, and art galleries. It feels like stepping into a secret world where locals sip coffee by the canals and musicians play on street corners. It's here that Amsterdam reveals its true charm, not in the grand monuments, but in the small details that make life beautiful. And then, of course, there's the world-famous Rijksmuseum, home to masterpieces from the Dutch Golden Age. Works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Frans Hals transport you to a time when the Netherlands was one of the most powerful nations on earth. Standing before the night watch, you can almost hear the marching soldiers, the echo of drums, the pride of a nation immortalized in paint. It's not just art, it's history captured forever. No visit to Amsterdam is complete without experiencing the canals themselves. Whether you take a boat ride during the day, with sunlight sparkling on the water, or at night when the bridges are illuminated with golden lights, the canals give you a completely different perspective of the city. Floating past centuries-old houses, you begin to understand why this city has inspired artists, poets, and dreamers for generations. Amsterdam is also a city of bicycles. With more bikes than people, cycling is more than transportation here, it's a way of life. Imagine pedaling along the canals, passing flower markets bursting with color, or exploring hidden courtyards that tourists rarely see. Riding a bike in Amsterdam connects you with the city in a way that walking or driving simply can't. It's freedom, discovery, and pure joy. And let's not forget the food. From traditional Dutch pancakes stacked high with syrup to fresh herring served in the local style, Amsterdam is a feast for the senses. Wander through Albert Kuip Market and taste your way through local delicacies. Or stop by a cozy cafe for a warm stroopwafel with melted caramel oozing from the middle. It's comfort food that makes you feel at home, no matter where you're from. Yet, beyond all the sights, the museums, and the food, what makes Amsterdam truly unforgettable is its atmosphere. There's a sense of openness, of freedom, of acceptance that defines the city. People from all over the world come here not just to see the beauty, but to feel the spirit of a place that celebrates diversity, creativity, and life itself. So, as we begin our journey through the Netherlands, Amsterdam sets the stage perfectly. It's a city that teaches us that history and modernity can live side by side, that art and culture can shape entire nations, and that beauty is often found in the little details: a flower by the canal, a smile from a local, a melody played by a street performer. This is Amsterdam, a city that doesn't just capture your eyes, it captures your heart. And as we continue, we'll uncover even more wonders that prove why the Netherlands is one of the most remarkable destinations on Earth. Beyond Amsterdam lies a quieter, more authentic Netherlands. Focus on Utrecht, with its medieval dome tower, wharf cellars, charming canals, and buzzing student culture. Highlight its blend of history and youthful energy. Imagine stepping into a city that feels like a hidden gem, intimate, charming, and steeped in history, yet buzzing with modern life. That's Utrecht, a place often overshadowed by Amsterdam, but in many ways, even more enchanting. With canals unlike any other in the world, a towering cathedral that defines the skyline, and a soul that mixes medieval heritage with youthful energy, Utrecht is the kind of city that surprises you at every turn. If Amsterdam is the heart of the Netherlands, Utrecht is its soul, a place where old-world beauty meets the vibrancy of a thriving university city. Stay with me, because once you see Utrecht, you'll understand why it's often called one of Europe's most underrated treasures. The first thing that captures your attention is the Dom Tower, the tallest church tower in the Netherlands. Rising over 112 meters, it dominates the skyline. And no matter where you are in Utrecht, it always seems to be watching over you. Climb its 465 steps and the reward is breathtaking panoramic views of the entire city and even beyond on a clear day. You'll see the red rooftops of medieval houses, winding canals glistening in the sun, and the distant green fields stretching endlessly. But the Dom Tower is not just a monument, it's a storyteller. Built in the 14th century, it has witnessed centuries of battles, celebrations, and transformations, making it a living symbol of Utrecht's endurance. Then there are the canals. Yes, Utrecht has canals like Amsterdam, but here they're completely unique. Instead of the usual embankments, Utrecht's canals are lined with wharves, stone cellars at water level that were once used for storage and trade. Today, those cellars have been transformed into cafes, restaurants, and boutiques. Imagine sipping coffee just inches from the water, watching boats float by, or dining at night while lanterns cast shimmering reflections. It's an experience unlike anywhere else in the world. The Oudegracht, or Old Canal, is the centerpiece, winding through the city like a ribbon of history, where every bridge and every wharf feels alive with stories. Utrecht is also a city of learning and youthful spirit. As home to one of Europe's oldest and most prestigious universities, the streets are filled with students, giving the city a vibrant, energetic pulse. Cafes overflow with conversations, bicycles zip past in every direction, and festivals light up the squares throughout the year. This blend of academic tradition and youthful energy makes Utrecht feel both historic and contemporary, at the same time a rare combination that few cities can achieve. Step inside St. Martin's Cathedral, also known as the Dom Church, and you'll be surrounded by Gothic architecture that inspires awe. Though part of it was destroyed in a storm centuries ago, the ruins now form a beautiful open courtyard, a peaceful oasis in the heart of the city. Sit here for a moment, and you'll feel the silence of history all around you, a stark contrast to the lively streets just outside its walls. But Utrecht doesn't stop at history. It embraces art, and creativity with open arms. The Rietveld Schroeder House, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a masterpiece of modern design, embodying the De Stijl movement with its clean lines and bold use of color. For architecture lovers, it's a pilgrimage, but even for casual visitors, it's a fascinating glimpse into how the Netherlands helped shape modern art and design. Food lovers will also find Utrecht irresistible. The city's markets are bursting with flavors, from fresh cheeses and breads to local specialties that tell the story of Dutch culinary traditions. Grab a warm stroopwafel from a street vendor, taste authentic Dutch pancakes at a canal-side cafe, or enjoy craft beers in a centuries-old cellar-turned pub. The experience here is not just about what you eat, but where you eat. It always surrounded by history, beauty, and charm. And yet, what makes Utrecht truly unforgettable is its atmosphere. It's a city that feels personal, inviting, and lived in. Unlike the busy rush of bigger cities, Utrecht welcomes you to slow down, stroll along the canals, listen to street musicians, or simply watch the bicycles glide by. The people here embody the warmth and openness that the Netherlands is known for, making you feel less like a visitor and more like a part of the city itself. When night falls, Utrecht transforms again. The canals glow with soft lights, and the Dom Tower illuminates the sky like a beacon. The city feels magical, as if the centuries-old stones themselves come alive in the stillness of the evening. Whether you're dining along the Oudegracht, wandering through narrow streets, or simply standing by the water, you'll find that Utrecht doesn't just show you its beauty, it makes you feel it. So, while Amsterdam might capture the world's spotlight, Utrecht quietly steals the hearts of those who discover it. It's a city that proves you don't need to be the biggest to be the most memorable. Utrecht is a place where history and modern life intertwine seamlessly, where canals tell stories, and where every moment feels both timeless and alive. And as our journey through the Netherlands continues, Utrecht reminds us that true wonders are often found not in the most famous places, but in the ones that surprise you the most. This is Utrecht, a city that whispers its secrets and leaves you longing for more. If Amsterdam is the face of the Netherlands, then Rotterdam is its bold future. Show the city's architectural wonders, Erasmus Bridge, cube houses, Markthal, modern skyline. Compare its resilience after WWI with today's innovation and cultural vibrancy. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a city that doesn't look like the rest of Europe. A place where sleek glass towers rise beside futuristic bridges, where creativity flows as strongly as the river that runs through it, and where every street corner feels like a glimpse into the future. This is Rotterdam, a city that had to rebuild itself from the ashes of World War II and, in doing so, reinvented what a modern European city could be. If Amsterdam is history and Utrecht is charm, then Rotterdam is innovation. And it's a city that will make you see the Netherlands in a whole new light. The first thing that strikes you about Rotterdam is its architecture. Unlike many Dutch cities, which are dominated by centuries-old canals and historic homes, Rotterdam's skyline looks bold, daring, and unapologetically modern. That's because in 1940, much of the city was destroyed during the war. Instead of recreating the past, Rotterdam chose to design the future. And what emerged is a living laboratory of architecture, where some of the world's most daring buildings stand tall. Take the cube houses, for example. Designed by architect Piet Blom, these bright yellow houses look like something out of a surreal painting. Tilted cubes balanced on hexagonal poles, angled at 45 degrees. Walking beneath them feels like stepping into another dimension, and stepping inside reveals just how creative human design can be. Then there's the Markthal, a massive horseshoe-shaped building with a vibrant indoor market at its core. Its ceiling is covered in one of the largest artworks in the world, a colorful mural of fruits, flowers, and animals that makes you feel like you're standing inside a giant painting. It's not just a place to shop, it's an experience for all your senses. And then there's the Erasmus Bridge, nicknamed the Swan for its elegant shape. Stretching gracefully across the River Maas, it connects the northern and southern halves of the city. At night, illuminated against the skyline, it feels like the heartbeat of Rotterdam, a symbol of resilience and progress. Standing on the bridge, you can feel the pulse of the city, the ships gliding beneath, the trams rushing past, the lights of skyscrapers reflecting in the water. It's a view that captures Rotterdam's spirit perfectly. Strong, modern, and alive. Rotterdam isn't just about buildings, it's about the energy that comes with reinvention. This city has become a hub for creativity, from art and music to food and design. The Keukenhof, one of its most famous museums, showcases everything from classic masterpieces to cutting-edge modern art. And the city's street art is equally impressive, turning walls and alleys into open-air galleries where color and imagination burst to life. Everywhere you go, you can sense that Rotterdam doesn't just embrace change, it thrives on it. Food lovers will also find plenty to enjoy here. The Markthal isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's a feast for the stomach too. From Dutch classics like herring and cheese to international dishes brought by the city's diverse communities, Rotterdam is a melting pot of flavors. You can taste Turkish kebabs, Surinamese specialties, Indonesian satay, and Moroccan tagines, all within a single city block. This global culinary mix makes Rotterdam feel like the world in miniature, united by taste. But while the city is futuristic, it also honors its past in meaningful ways. The Maritime Museum tells the story of Rotterdam's centuries-old relationship with the sea. After all, Rotterdam is home to the largest port in Europe, and its history as a gateway to the world is part of its very DNA. Standing among the ships, models, and artifacts, you realize just how deeply the sea has shaped the city's identity both in trade and in culture. Rotterdam also knows how to surprise you with moments of peace. The city's parks, like Het Park near the Euromast Tower, provide lush green escapes where locals picnic, cycle, or simply soak in the sun. And speaking of the Euromast, climb this observation tower and you'll be rewarded with sweeping views of the city and beyond. From this height, you can see the blend of old and new, the vast port stretching into the distance, and the unique skyline that makes Rotterdam stand apart from every other Dutch city. When night falls, Rotterdam transforms once again. The skyline glows with lights. The Erasmus Bridge shines like a jewel, and the nightlife begins to buzz. From rooftop bars to underground clubs, the city comes alive in a way that feels distinctly international. There's a rhythm here, a beat that speaks to Rotterdam's resilience, creativity, and unstoppable drive to reinvent itself. What makes Rotterdam so fascinating is not just its bold architecture or bustling port. It's the spirit of the city itself. It's the story of a place that refused to be defined by destruction and instead chose to build something new, something extraordinary. It's a reminder that from the hardest challenges, the greatest innovations can emerge. So when you think of the Netherlands, don't just think of canals, tulips, and windmills. Think of Rotterdam, the city that looks forward, the city that dares to be different, the city that shows us that the future is not something to wait for, but something we can create. And once you've walked its streets, crossed its bridges, and gazed at its skyline, you'll never forget it. Every spring, nature paints the Netherlands in its most dazzling masterpiece. Take viewers through Keukenhof gardens, tulip fields in Lies, and the famous flower parade. Highlight the surreal, dreamlike beauty of blooming season. Imagine a place where the rhythm of government meets the serenity of seaside life, where palaces, international courts, and embassies sit side by side with sandy beaches, bustling cafes, and modern art galleries. This is The Hague, a city unlike any other in the Netherlands. It is both regal and relaxed, both global and local. A city that carries centuries of history, yet feels refreshingly modern. When you arrive in The Hague, you don't just visit, you experience a crossroads of power, culture, and beauty. The Hague is often called the political heart of the country. While Amsterdam is the capital, The Hague is where decisions are made. It is home to the Dutch government, the royal family, and dozens of embassies and international organizations. The Binnenhof, a stunning complex of Gothic buildings, has been the center of Dutch politics for centuries. Standing in its courtyard, surrounded by medieval towers and reflecting ponds, you can almost feel the weight of history pressing against the walls. Yet this is no dusty relic. This is where the future of the country is still being shaped, where policies and debates continue to echo through its chambers. Just a short walk from the Binnenhof lies the Peace Palace, one of the most iconic landmarks in The Hague and a symbol of international law and diplomacy. Home to the International Court of Justice, it represents not only the city's role in Dutch politics, but also its global importance. This is where disputes between nations are settled not with war, but with words and law. The palace itself is breathtaking, with its tall towers, elegant gardens, and intricate design. It feels like a reminder that justice and peace, while fragile, can be built with patience and determination. But The Hague is not only about politics and power. It is also a city of art, beauty, and inspiration. At the Mauritshuis Museum, you'll come face to face with some of the world's most celebrated masterpieces, including Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring. Standing before this painting, with her mysterious gaze following you, is an experience that stays with you long after you've left the gallery. Alongside Vermeer, you'll find works by Rembrandt and other Dutch masters, all displayed in an intimate and elegant setting that feels more like a private collection than a public museum. For those who crave modern creativity, The Hague doesn't disappoint. The Gemeente Museum, also known as the Kunstmuseum Den Haag, is a temple of modern art, featuring works by Piet Mondrian, whose bold, geometric patterns and primary colors helped shape the language of modern design. This city is alive with culture, from classical concerts to avant-garde exhibitions, making it a destination where tradition and innovation constantly meet. But The Hague has something else that sets it apart from other Dutch cities: the sea. Just a short tram ride from the city center lies Scheveningen, a lively seaside resort with wide sandy beaches, a bustling pier, and a vibrant boardwalk. Here, the formality of politics gives way to the laughter of families, the crash of waves, and the salty breeze of the North Sea. You can walk barefoot on the sand, dine in a beachside cafe, or watch the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. It's hard to believe that, just minutes away, politicians and diplomats are shaping the world's future. This contrast between power and leisure, between diplomacy and beach life, is what makes The Hague so remarkable. It's a city that wears many faces, and each one feels authentic. Wander through the city center, and you'll find elegant shopping streets, cozy cafes, and tree-lined avenues where bicycles glide quietly past embassies and royal palaces. The Noordeinde Palace, the working palace of the Dutch king, stands with quiet dignity amid the city bustle, a reminder that monarchy is still very much alive here. And then there are the hidden corners that reveal The Hague's softer side. The Hague's parks and green spaces invite you to slow down, breathe, and enjoy the outdoors. Places like the Haagse Bos, one of the oldest forests in the country, or the Japanese Garden in Klingendale Park, which blooms into a rare spectacle of beauty each spring. These are places where you can step away from politics and crowds and simply connect with nature. At night, The Hague reveals yet another personality. The city lights up with cozy terraces, fine restaurants, and a lively cultural scene. From theaters and music halls to seaside clubs where the sound of waves mixes with music, The Hague knows how to balance elegance with energy. It's a city that can be as formal or as relaxed as you want it to be. What makes The Hague unforgettable is its unique balance. Few cities in the world combine so many identities into one. A center of justice and diplomacy, a seat of royal power, a haven of art and culture, and a seaside escape all rolled into one. It's a city that proves you don't have to choose between power and peace, between tradition and modernity, or between work and leisure. The Hague gives you all of it, seamlessly woven into one rich experience. When you leave The Hague, you carry with you more than just images of beautiful buildings or memories of the beach. You carry a sense of the world's complexity, the realization that politics, art, and nature can coexist in harmony. And that, perhaps, is the true magic of The Hague. A city that teaches us that balance is not only possible, it's essential. Step back into the Dutch Golden Age. Explore Haarlem and Leiden, historic university towns, Rembrandt's birthplace, and traditional markets. Show cobblestone streets, ancient churches, and authentic Dutch lifestyle. Imagine walking through a city where every street feels like a journey through time, where canals shimmer in the sunlight, where medieval towers rise proudly above red brick houses, and where bicycles glide past you on cobbled streets. This is Utrecht, a city often overshadowed by Amsterdam, yet in many ways even more enchanting. If you've ever dreamed of experiencing the Netherlands in its purest, most authentic form, Utrecht will capture your heart from the very first moment. It's not just a place to visit, it's a place to feel. At the center of Utrecht stands the Dom Tower, the tallest church tower in the Netherlands, and a symbol of the city's spirit. Rising 112 meters into the sky, it dominates the skyline, visible from almost anywhere in the city. Climbing its 465 steps is no easy feat, but the reward is breathtaking. A panoramic view of the entire city, with canals, churches, and green spaces stretching far into the distance. From this height, you can feel the weight of history. Built in the 14th century, the Dom Tower has witnessed Utrecht's triumphs, struggles, and transformations, standing tall as a silent guardian of the city's soul. But Utrecht's magic isn't just about what rises above, it's about what lies below. Unlike Amsterdam's elevated canal houses, Utrecht's canals are unique because of their wharf cellars. These 12th century water-level basements were once used for storage and trade, but today they've been transformed into cozy cafes, stylish restaurants, and boutique shops. Walking along these canals feels like entering another world, intimate, charming, and full of life. Imagine sipping coffee just a few feet from the water, or dining in a cellar while boats quietly pass by outside. Nowhere else in the Netherlands do canals feel this alive, this personal, this beautifully human. The Oudegracht, or Old Canal, is the beating heart of Utrecht. Stretching through the city like a ribbon of history, it is lined with centuries-old buildings and wharf terraces that invite you to linger. Day or night, the Oudegracht has a unique atmosphere, peaceful yet buzzing, historic yet modern. It's a place where students, families, and travelers come together, where music drifts across the water, and where life feels endlessly vibrant. Beyond its canals, Utrecht is a city of hidden treasures. Tucked away in its streets are secret courtyards, quiet gardens, and small alleyways that reveal unexpected beauty. One such gem is the Punthof Garden, next to the Dom Church. Here, within a medieval cloister, you find a tranquil garden of herbs, flowers, and sculptures, a place where time slows down and silence wraps around you like a gentle cloak. But Utrecht is not just about history and quiet corners, it's also one of the youngest cities in spirit. Thanks to its large student population, the city pulses with creativity and energy. The cafes are filled with laughter, the music scene is thriving, and the festivals are endless. From jazz nights to cultural fairs, Utrecht knows how to celebrate life. The blend of old and new here is seamless. Medieval towers stand beside modern design, and historic streets hum with youthful energy. Art and culture flow through Utrecht like its canals. The city is the birthplace of Gerrit Rietveld, the famous architect of the Destijs movement, and his iconic Rietveld Schroeder House is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. With its bold lines, geometric shapes, and innovative design, it feels as modern today as it did in the 1920s. Utrecht is also the hometown of Miffy, the beloved little rabbit created by illustrator Dick Bruna. You'll find her influence everywhere, from museums to public art, reminding you that this city embraces both sophistication and playfulness. As evening falls, Utrecht transforms once again. The canals glow with soft lights, reflecting lanterns and illuminated artworks. One of the city's most enchanting experiences is the Trajectum Lumen, a walking tour through the city at night that highlights historic buildings and hidden spots with dazzling light installations. It feels like stepping into a dream, where history and art meet under the stars. Food in Utrecht is just as delightful as its atmosphere. The wharf restaurants offer cuisines from all over the world, while traditional Dutch eateries serve hearty classics. Local markets, like the Vredenburg Market, bring fresh produce, cheese, and baked goods to the heart of the city, filling the air with irresistible aromas. What makes Utrecht truly unforgettable is its harmony. It is a city where past and present blend seamlessly, where medieval charm coexists with youthful energy, and where every corner holds a new discovery. Unlike larger cities, Utrecht feels personal and intimate. You don't just walk through it, you connect with it. It welcomes you like an old friend, invites you to stay longer, and leaves you longing to return. Utrecht is not just another stop on the map, it's the soul of the Netherlands in its purest form. It whispers stories of history, sings with the voices of youth, and shines with a warmth that makes you feel at home. When you leave, you don't just take memories, you take a piece of Utrecht with you, a city that lingers in your heart long after your journey ends. Where land meets the sea, the Netherlands reveals its true soul. Showcase The Hague, with its royal palaces, Scheveningen Beach, International Court of Justice, and mix of politics, culture, and coast. Close your eyes and imagine a city that feels like it was born from the future. A city where bold skyscrapers pierce the sky, where bridges stretch like works of art across glittering water, and where innovation blends seamlessly with resilience. This is Rotterdam, the beating heart of modern the Netherlands. Unlike the medieval charm of Utrecht or the timeless elegance of Amsterdam, Rotterdam is something else entirely. It's daring, unconventional, and unapologetically modern. And it has every reason to be, because Rotterdam is not just a city, it's a symbol of survival and reinvention. During World War II, much of Rotterdam was destroyed in a devastating bombing raid. But instead of rebuilding what was lost, the people of Rotterdam looked forward. They chose innovation over imitation, designing a city unlike any other in Europe. Today, Rotterdam stands as a living example of creativity and resilience, a place where architecture tells a story of hope, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. The skyline of Rotterdam is nothing short of breathtaking. Towering structures like the De Rotterdam building, designed by Rem Koolhaas, dominate the horizon with striking shapes and daring designs. The city is constantly evolving, always experimenting, always pushing boundaries. Walking through its streets feels like walking through an open-air museum of modern architecture, where every building has a personality and every corner sparks curiosity. And then there's the Erasmus Bridge, known locally as the Swan. This elegant, white suspension bridge connects the north and south of the city, stretching gracefully across the River Maas. More than just a bridge, it's a symbol of Rotterdam's unity and progress, a masterpiece of engineering that looks just as stunning by day as it does illuminated at night. Standing here, watching the boats pass beneath its arch, you can feel the pulse of the city, fast, dynamic, alive. But Rotterdam isn't just steel and glass, it's also deeply human. The Markthal, for example, is a building that combines modern design with daily life in the most creative way possible. From the outside, it looks like a giant horseshoe-shaped arch. Step inside, and you'll find yourself in a world of flavors, smells, and colors. The vast indoor market offers food from every corner of the world, while apartments curve above it, with windows looking down onto the bustle below. And when you glance up, you'll see one of the largest indoor artworks in the world, a vibrant mural of fruits, vegetables, and flowers that seems to explode across the ceiling. It's not just a market, it's an experience, and it captures Rotterdam's personality perfectly. Bold, diverse, and full of energy. Another icon of the city are the cube houses, designed by architect Piet Blom. These tilted, cube-shaped homes look like something out of a science fiction movie. Built on their edges, they appear to balance precariously, yet inside they are cleverly designed to make the most of every inch of space. They're not just houses, they're a statement. Rotterdam doesn't follow rules, it rewrites them. Despite its futuristic style, Rotterdam has a deep connection to the water. Its port is the largest in Europe, earning it the title Gateway to the World. For centuries, Rotterdam has been a hub of trade, culture, and ideas, and today the port continues to be the lifeblood of the city. Taking a boat tour through its sprawling docks reveals the immense scale of this industrial giant, where massive ships from across the globe come and go, connecting Rotterdam to every corner of the earth. Culture thrives here too. The Kunsthal, designed by Rem Koolhaas, is one of the city's most innovative museums, hosting exhibitions that range from classical masterpieces to cutting-edge contemporary art. Meanwhile, the Boijmans van Beuningen Museum holds treasures of Dutch and European art, from Van Gogh to Dali. Rotterdam's music and festival scene is just as vibrant. Each summer, the city comes alive with events like the North Sea Jazz Festival and the International Film Festival Rotterdam, drawing visitors from around the world. Food in Rotterdam is a global adventure. Because it's such an international city, you can taste flavors from every culture: Indonesian rishtafel, Surinamese roti, Turkish kebabs, Moroccan tagines, and of course, Dutch classics like stroopwafels and herring. The city's a melting pot of cultures, and its food reflects that diversity in the most delicious way possible. As night falls, Rotterdam transforms again. The skyline sparkles with light, reflections shimmer across the water, and the city seems to pulse with a quiet, electric energy. Rooftop bars and riverside cafes fill with people. The Erasmus Bridge glows in the distance, and the city whispers a promise of endless possibility. Rotterdam is not a city that tries to be beautiful in the traditional sense. It is bold, fearless, and original. It dares to be different, and in doing so, it captures the imagination of everyone who visits. This is a place where history meets the future, where resilience meets creativity, and where every street is a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful things are born from struggle and reinvention. When you visit Rotterdam, you don't just see a city, you experience a vision of what the future can be. And once you've felt its energy, once you've stood beneath its daring skyline, you'll never forget it. What if you could walk into a living painting? Take viewers to Zaanse Schans and Kinderdijk, showcasing traditional windmills, wooden houses, Dutch crafts, and UNESCO windmill sites. Imagine stepping into a place where there are no cars, no honking horns, and no traffic lights. Instead, the streets are calm canals, lined with lush greenery, thatched roof cottages, and little wooden bridges arching gracefully over the water. The air feels softer here. Time seems slower, and the only sounds you hear are the gentle paddles of a boat gliding through the still waters and the chirping of birds hidden among the trees. This isn't a fairy tale painting, it's Giethoorn, a village so peaceful and enchanting that people call it the Venice of the North. Hidden in the province of Overijssel, Giethoorn is unlike anywhere else in the Netherlands. Most towns evolve with roads and traffic as their lifeblood. But here, water is the main way of getting around. There are pathways and cycling lanes, of course, but the magic lies in its canals. Originally dug centuries ago by monks who extracted peat from the land. Over time, the flooded areas created a network of waterways, and the villagers built homes with traditional thatched roofs along the canals, connected only by charming wooden bridges. Today, there are over 170 of these bridges, giving Giethoorn its storybook charm. What makes Giethoorn so irresistible is its balance of tranquility and beauty. As you float in a traditional punter boat, flat-bottomed and quiet, you pass homes that look straight out of a dream. Each cottage seems perfectly placed, with gardens overflowing with flowers in spring and summer. Roses climb the walls, hydrangeas burst in every color, and willows sway gently by the water. The reflections in the canals make everything feel doubled, as if reality itself is too beautiful to exist just once. Giethoorn is a place that encourages you to slow down and simply breathe. There is no rush here. Tourists and locals alike move at a gentle pace, savoring the stillness that so rarely exists in the modern world. Unlike Venice, which is grand and bustling, Giethoorn is intimate, small, and wrapped in a calmness that makes you feel like you've stumbled into a hidden paradise. But don't mistake its peace for emptiness. There is much to explore. The village has cozy cafes and restaurants, many sitting right by the water. Imagine sipping coffee or enjoying a traditional Dutch pancake as boats glide past you, their reflections shimmering in the canal. There are also museums that capture the history of the region, from its peat digging origins to the simple farming life that once defined it. Each tells the story of how this magical place grew from hard work into one of the most picturesque spots in Europe. The canals themselves are the heart of Giethoorn, but the surrounding landscape is equally breathtaking. Giethoorn is part of the Weerabin National Park, a stunning natural reserve filled with wetlands, lakes, and meadows. It is the largest freshwater wetland in Western Europe, home to countless species of birds, fish, and plants. Exploring this park by boat, bike, or even on foot is an experience of pure serenity, where you feel truly connected to nature. The rhythm of life here changes with the seasons, each bringing its own kind of beauty. In spring, blossoms cover the gardens and everything feels alive. In summer, the canals are vibrant with boats, laughter, and flowers in full bloom. Autumn paints the village in warm golden tones as leaves fall softly into the water. And in winter, when the canals freeze over, Giethoorn transforms into a wonderland, with villagers and visitors skating gracefully across the ice under twinkling lights. What makes Giethoorn especially fascinating is that it has managed to preserve its authenticity even with its growing fame. Despite attracting visitors from around the world, the village remains quiet and true to its roots. Its charm doesn't feel manufactured. It's lived in, cared for, and deeply real. The locals still tend to their gardens, still paddle their boats, still live in harmony with the water and land, just as their ancestors did. Travelers often describe Giethoorn as stepping into another world, a place untouched by the chaos of modern life. And they're right. Few places on earth can silence your thoughts and immerse you in peace the way Giethoorn does. Every moment spent here feels like a gift, a reminder that beauty doesn't always need to be loud or grand. It can also be soft, quiet, and infinitely soothing. Standing on one of its little bridges, looking down at the canal as a boat drifts beneath, you realize that Giethoorn is more than just a destination. It's an escape into a dream, a chance to experience life at its gentlest and most enchanting pace. In a world that constantly rushes forward, Giethoorn is a reminder to slow down, to savor stillness, and to find joy in simplicity. Visiting this village feels like being let in on a secret so magical you almost don't want to share it. But Giethoorn's magic is meant to be experienced, to be cherished, and to remind every visitor that sometimes the most extraordinary wonders are found in the quietest corners of the world. Hidden in the northern reaches lies a world untouched by time. Highlight Friesland and the Wadden Sea Islands, unique landscapes, sailing culture, and UNESCO tidal flats full of wildlife and adventure. Imagine standing on a quiet stretch of Dutch countryside, the horizon dotted with towering wooden giants whose blades turn slowly against the sky. The air feels charged with history, as if these silent guardians have been watching over the land for centuries. Their creaking sounds, faint yet steady, whisper stories of resilience, survival, and ingenuity. This is Kinderdijk, the legendary home of the Netherlands windmills, where history and engineering meet in one of the most iconic landscapes in the world. Located just outside Rotterdam, Kinderdijk is more than just a collection of windmills. It is a living testament to the Dutch people's eternal struggle against water. For centuries, the Netherlands has battled the sea, with much of its land lying below sea level. Floods once devastated villages, farms, and entire regions, threatening not only homes but also the very survival of communities. It was here, at Kinderdijk, that a brilliant solution was born: an interconnected system of windmills, pumps, and canals designed to drain the land and keep it habitable. Walking into Kinderdijk feels like walking into another era. The 19 windmills that rise majestically across the polder landscape are perfectly preserved from the 18th century. Each one is unique, yet together they form a rhythm that feels both powerful and poetic. Their primary purpose was to pump water out of the low-lying Alblasserwaard polder into a higher reservoir, protecting farmland and villages from flooding. Without them, this fertile land would have been lost to the waters. As you stand among these windmills, it's easy to forget the modern world. The view is wide and open, the kind of panorama that makes you pause and breathe deeper. In spring, fields of green stretch endlessly, dotted with wildflowers, while canals reflect the turning blades like mirrors. In autumn, mist rises off the water in the early morning, wrapping the windmills in a mysterious haze. And in winter, when the canals freeze, Kinderdijk transforms into a magical ice-skating wonderland, where locals glide past the windmills just as they have for generations. The story of Kinderdijk is also deeply tied to Dutch identity. The Netherlands' ability to tame the water shaped its culture, its economy, and even its national character. These windmills are not just machines, they are symbols of determination, creativity, and survival. Every blade that turns reminds you that this land was not given, it was earned. To walk here is to understand the deep respect the Dutch have for water and the ingenuity they use to bend it to their will. Today, Kinderdijk is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, ensuring its preservation for future generations. Visitors come from all over the world to see this extraordinary landscape. Yet the village has managed to retain its authenticity. Many of the windmills are still functional, and some are even lived in by miller families who carry on centuries-old traditions. Step inside one of the open windmills, and you'll see wooden gears turning, thick ropes pulling, and the simple yet brilliant engineering that has stood the test of time. It's like stepping into the heart of Dutch history. Beyond the windmills themselves, the area around Kinderdijk is filled with canals, dikes, and walking paths that invite exploration. You can cycle or stroll along the waterways, watching the reflections of the mills ripple across the water. Boat tours offer another perspective, gliding past the mills at water level as guides share stories of floods, battles against the sea, and the incredible resilience of the people who built this system. But perhaps the most unforgettable part of Kinderdijk is its atmosphere. There's a stillness here that is hard to find elsewhere, harmony between human invention and natural beauty. As the wind catches the blades and sets them in motion, you feel the timelessness of this place. It is both practical and poetic, functional and breathtaking. For photographers, Kinderdijk is a dream. The golden light of sunrise and sunset paints the windmills in colors so vivid they seem unreal. At dusk, when the sky glows pink and orange, the mills stand silhouetted against the horizon, creating a scene that feels like the cover of a storybook. Every angle is a postcard, every view a memory waiting to be captured. And yet, the true beauty of Kinderdijk is not just in how it looks, but in what it represents. It tells the story of a nation that refused to surrender, a people who saw nature's power and responded not with fear, but with creativity and courage. These windmills are more than wooden structures with turning blades. They are monuments to human perseverance, proof that even the greatest challenges can be met with innovation. When you leave Kinderdijk, the image stays with you. Tall windmills standing proud against the sky, their blades moving gracefully as they have for centuries. It's a scene that embodies the heart of the Netherlands, a land shaped not only by water and wind, but by the people who found harmony with both. Visiting Kinderdijk isn't just about seeing windmills, it's about stepping into the story of the Dutch, a story of survival, determination, and the extraordinary beauty that can emerge when humanity and nature find balance. The Netherlands isn't just about flowers and windmills, it's also about thrill and energy. Highlight Eindhoven's design and tech scene, carnival festivals, and the modern spirit of Dutch creativity. Imagine walking down a grand boulevard where palaces, parliament buildings, and art museums stand side by side. their elegant facades whispering stories of kings, queens, and centuries of diplomacy. The air feels different here, not rushed like a big city, but regal, calm, and deeply sophisticated. This is The Hague, the royal heart of the Netherlands, a city where power and culture blend seamlessly. Known as the seat of government and home to the Dutch royal family, The Hague is more than just a political capital. It's a living museum of history, justice, and royal tradition. Unlike Amsterdam, which dazzles with canals and commerce, The Hague carries itself with quiet dignity. This is where decisions that shape the nation, and even the world, have been made. And yet, it is not a cold city of politics. It is warm, welcoming, and filled with beauty at every turn. Strolling through The Hague is like peeling back layers of Dutch history, each building revealing another chapter of a nation built on diplomacy and resilience. At the very center of this story lies the Binnenhof, one of the oldest parliamentary buildings still in use anywhere in the world. Walking into the Binnenhof feels like stepping into a time machine. Its Gothic halls and medieval towers stand proudly around a tranquil courtyard, where statesmen, ministers, and monarchs once gathered to discuss the future of the Netherlands. Even today, the Prime Minister works here, and national debates unfold within these ancient walls. To see politics taking place inside a building that has stood since the 13th century is a powerful reminder of the continuity of Dutch governance. But just beyond politics lies royalty. The Hague has long been the home of the Dutch royal family, and its palaces reflect that majestic history. The most famous is Noordeinde Palace, an elegant 16th century residence that still serves as the working palace of King Willem-Alexander. Though visitors cannot always enter the palace itself, the sight of its stately facade and the royal guards standing proudly at the gates make you pause and feel the weight of monarchy in everyday life. It is here that royal ceremonies, audiences, and receptions take place, continuing a centuries-old tradition that binds the Dutch people to their monarchy. Nearby, Huis another royal residence, carries its own magic. Tucked into the lush Haagse forest, this palace is the official home of the king and his family. Though private, its grandeur is legendary, with richly decorated halls and murals that celebrate Dutch history and culture. Just knowing that the monarch lives here, in a palace surrounded by centuries-old trees, adds to the enchantment of The Hague's royal character. Yet The Hague is not only about politics and royalty. It is also a cultural treasure chest. Perhaps the most dazzling jewel is the Mauritshuis Museum, home to some of the greatest masterpieces of the Dutch Golden Age. Within its refined galleries hang works by Rembrandt, Frans Hals, and Johannes Vermeer, including the world-famous Girl with a Pearl Earring. To stand before this mysterious painting, with her timeless gaze and luminous beauty, is to feel connected to art on a deeply personal level. The Mauritshuis proves that The Hague is not just about power, but also about imagination and inspiration. The city also embraces modern justice, earning it the title of International City of Peace and Justice. The Peace Palace stands as a symbol of this identity, a grand building where the International Court of Justice and other institutions work tirelessly to resolve conflicts between nations. With its majestic towers, vast library, and iconic stained glass windows, the Peace Palace is more than a building. It is a global symbol of humanity's hope for fairness and peace. To walk past it is to realize that The Hague is not just the royal and political heart of the Netherlands, but also a city that looks outward to the entire world. Beyond its history and institutions, The Hague surprises visitors with its charm. Wide, leafy avenues, elegant squares, and historic buildings give it an atmosphere of refinement. Yet just a short tram ride away lies Scheveningen, the city's seaside district, where the grandeur of palaces meets the relaxation of sandy beaches. On summer days, the promenade buzzes with life, and the contrast between royal palaces and crashing North Sea waves captures the city's dual personality, majestic and down-to-earth at the same time. As the sun sets over The Hague, the city takes on an almost magical glow. The Binnenhof courtyard lights up softly, the reflections of its Gothic towers shimmering in the Hofvijver lake beside it. Couples walk hand in hand, children laugh by the fountains, and history feels alive in every corner. The Hague doesn't overwhelm, it embraces, offering its treasures with dignity and grace. Visiting The Hague is about more than sightseeing, it's about feeling the heartbeat of Dutch identity. Here, royalty and democracy coexist. Tradition and modernity intertwine, and justice and culture share the same streets. It is a place where you sense both the weight of history and the promise of the future. Leaving The Hague, you don't just remember the palaces, the paintings, or the parliament halls. You remember the feeling of walking through a city that quietly holds the soul of a nation. Regal, refined, and endlessly fascinating, The Hague is a reminder that power can be graceful, and history can live beautifully in the present. As the sun sets over Dutch canals, you realize this small nation holds an infinite world of wonders. Wrap up with a journey through Giethoorn, the fairy tale village without roads, and emphasize the Netherlands' balance between tradition, innovation, and nature. Close with an inspiring message about experiencing the soul of the country. Imagine a village where there are no cars, no bustling traffic, no honking horns, just narrow waterways gliding through charming cottages with thatched roofs, wooden bridges arching gracefully over canals, and the gentle sound of ducks paddling by. It feels almost unreal, like you've stepped into a storybook illustration. This is Giethoorn, a village so picturesque and serene that it has been called the Venice of the North. But unlike Venice, which dazzles with grandeur and crowds, Giethoorn whispers to you softly, offering peace, simplicity, and an escape into a world where time seems to slow down. The first thing you notice in Giethoorn is the quiet. The absence of cars creates an atmosphere unlike anywhere else in the Netherlands. Instead of roads, canals crisscross the village, and people travel by whisper boats, small electric boats that glide silently through the water. As you float along, you pass by gardens bursting with colorful flowers, cottages dating back to the 18th century, and families enjoying a meal by the water's edge. Each corner of Giethoorn feels carefully painted, as if the whole village were an artist's creation. But Giethoorn isn't just a modern tourist destination, it has a fascinating history. The village was founded in the 13th century by settlers who discovered large deposits of peat in the region. As they dug the peat, canals and lakes were formed, and over time, waterways became the main means of transport. Wooden bridges were built to connect the land across the canals, and many of these bridges still stand today, over 170 of them, each adding to the fairy tale atmosphere. Walking across one of these charming bridges feels like crossing into another time, another way of life. Giethoorn's houses are equally enchanting. Many are traditional farmhouses, with steep thatched roofs, designed centuries ago to withstand the Dutch weather. Their perfectly manicured gardens, blooming with tulips, hydrangeas, and roses in spring and summer, create a living rainbow of colors against the deep green grass. Every home seems to carry its own personality, some whimsical, some elegant, all harmoniously blending into the natural landscape. To simply walk, or rather, glide past these homes is to experience an intimate portrait of Dutch rural life, where simplicity meets beauty at every turn. The village's rhythm is slow, deliberate, and deeply calming. In Giethoorn, people spend their afternoons boating with friends, sipping coffee at small waterside cafes, or cycling along quiet paths that weave through nature reserves. The pace of life here is a gentle reminder that happiness can be found in slowing down, in savoring the moment, in appreciating the small joys of still water and fresh air. Tourism has made Giethoorn famous around the world, attracting travelers eager to experience its dreamlike charm. Yet despite the visitors, the village retains its authenticity. Early in the morning or later in the evening, when the day trippers have gone, Giethoorn feels almost otherworldly. The reflections of the cottages and bridges shimmer in the canals. Lanterns cast a golden glow over the water, and silence returns. In those quiet hours, Giethoorn reveals its truest self, peaceful, timeless, and magical. Beyond the village, Giethoorn also connects to the larger De Weeribben National Park, one of the most important wetlands in Europe. Here, nature lovers can kayak through reed fields, watch rare birds, and explore winding waterways that extend far beyond the village. This natural extension makes Giethoorn not only a picturesque destination, but also a gateway into one of the Netherlands' most pristine landscapes. What makes Giethoorn unforgettable is not just its beauty, but the feeling it gives you. Drifting along the canals, surrounded by nothing but water, greenery, and charming cottages, you begin to feel the stress of the modern world slip away. It's as if Giethoorn gently teaches you that life doesn't always have to be fast or loud, that there is profound joy in simplicity, in nature, and in the quiet companionship of water and sky. As the sun sets, Giethoorn transforms into a glowing canvas. The water reflects the fiery colors of the sky, birds return to their nests, and the village seems to exhale after a long day. Lanterns light up along the canals, casting a soft golden hue that turns every bridge and cottage into a dreamlike silhouette. This is when Giethoorn feels most magical, as if it exists in a realm between reality and fantasy. Leaving Giethoorn, you don't just remember the canals or the cottages, you carry with you a sense of peace, of stillness, of life lived at a slower and more meaningful pace. In a world rushing forward, Giethoorn stands still, timeless and enchanting, inviting all who visit to pause and breathe. It is not just a destination, but an experience, a gentle reminder of how beautiful life can be when it flows like a quiet canal, unhurried, serene, and endlessly enchanting. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.